I have been looking at the reports and I thought, why don't I get my 2 cents in out on this Spider-Man? Now, this new Maximum line, as we all know, is supposed to be Hasbro's version of, Medicom, Mopfex, their figures. It's supposed to be essential to those. Now, this figure here is really good in a few cents, but in another sense, it's not, and I will explain. Now, in front of me, is the very first newly sculpted Spider-Man that came out, which the retro card, and this is the official one. This is not a bootleg, but this, in a lot of people's eyes, was the, if I can get my camera to focus on, was the quintessential Spider-Man, the one that you had to have, and if you didn't have it, then you practically were not a Spider-Man fan. And the one thing you were missing from this set, if I recall, it was wall crawling hands, but we got an extra head replacing those. But then, of course, we fast forward later to another Spider-Man that people really claim is the best one, and that's the Amazing Fantasy 15. These both right here have the same articulation scheme, just are based on two different eras of, Peter Parker. This is more of his beginning years of high school, and this one is more of him to his college adult years. So honestly, these two are the best. Now, Renew Your Vows came in, and I'm going to be honest with you, I like this muscle definition on this figure better than Renew Your Vows, just because I think Renew Your Vows is just a bit too bulky in my opinion. It looks more like a bodybuilder than anything, but this one looks good. But then came out another Spider-Man, which we've had plenty of Spider-Man reuse the same body, but we got, of course, the Spider-Man from the VHS 2-pack with Vulture, which was a really good Spider-Man. It's not as posable as these two are, but it's still a really good figure of itself. Now, why am I showing these Spider-Man? Well, if we look at the new one, the Maximum that's coming out, what do you get? You get 3 sets of heads, 2 masked heads, 1 Peter Parker head. You get a separate set of ungloved hands with web shooters, all in flipping poses. And then you get a plethora of alternate hands, which, if you remember, this Spider-Man came with tons of different hands, fisted hands, wall crawling hands, flipping hands, gripping hands, web wings, 2 sets of those, came with web lines. So this one came with a lot, and it was like $38 for this thing. It was $38. But we look at this one, and now they're charging $50 for really, again, yes, it's all new sculpt, but the articulation scheme is about the same as we have seen with all Spider-Man, basically taking stuff from each of these Spider-Man, well, especially these two, and ramming it up a notch, trying to improve on it. And of course, it's a new body from head to toe, sure, but whenever they do that, Hasbro likes to say, oh, look, we got a new body out. It's great. But we get heads, we get hands, we get web effects, we get a translucent spider sense, but you can literally go on eBay and buy those from third-party sellers. You could print your own. I mean, it's not that big of a deal with that. But still, I'm just a little burned up, sorry. But again, what is really new here with that Spider-Man? Sure, the deco is great. It is a 90s Spider-Man. It's not exactly Todd McFarlane's design. It's close, but it's not quite there. The eyes are too far apart, so how can Peter Parker really look into the mask? And the head sculpt is just a bit too big. But that's just me nitpicking. But this figure, is it really worth $50? I think a lot more people would have been satisfied with it being $35 to $40. Because this guy right here was $35 when it came out. A lot of Marvel Legends these days have went from $20 before COVID, now they go up to $25 to $26. That is too pricey for action figures today. That's why these days us collectors, we have to cherry pick of what we're going to buy. We have to be Very consistent with the budget. You know, are we going to get this? Are we going to get this? I want to get this. I want to get that. Can't get it. Can't get it. So we have to cherry pick what we get nowadays, because the consumer and the sellers are increase their prices. I get it. When COVID hit, it really hurt a lot of businesses. So they have to increase their revenue in order to make back what they lost during COVID. I understand that, but still. And for the record, the Spider-Man is still available. It's sold out on Hasbro, but it's still available, as far as I know, Amazon, GameStop, Big Bad. It is sold out in Entertainer, so it's not sold out everywhere that's Spider-Man. But I mean, you're getting articulation scheme basically that you get from these two Spider-Man. Like, really, from these two. I'll move them out of the way. But from these two, and it's like, what is Hasbro really offering us? What are they offering that really says, this is a must-buy? It's not really. If you have one of these two, or if you have the Renew Your Vows, you really don't need to get this new one. You don't. Another reason why it's a blank body, we've seen them sculpt web lines. Let me grab the figure. They have sculpted web lines, and they prove they can. If we take a look at the live-action Spider-Man, sculpted web lines on top and painted. They could do that with his body, but the issue is they're doing that, you know, painting it on and not sculpting it, so they can reuse it for other figures. Maybe, sure, more variants of Spider-Man, but I guarantee it's going to go to more figures. Same thing why they cut it off the wrist, why they cut it off. So that way they can put other characters on there. Now, yes, that's what they're probably going to do. I guarantee we're going to get a Daredevil like that and stuff, a Daredevil, and maybe others. I know the rumor, the next figure to come out for this series is the Hulk, which is going to be very interesting how they do that one. But again, this Spider-Man, in my opinion, as a diehard Spider-Man fan, I'm going to get it, because I might get it, I might not, I'm still on the fence. Because like I said, if you have these two guys right here, you don't really need to get that maximum one. It's not worth $50. And if people go out and buy it, they're basically proving to Hasbro that they can price anything they want, and people are going to give in and buy it. That's why a lot of people like me and others always say vote with your wallet. Because if you give in to the Hasbro and other companies who are charging so much for a product that should be at least $35 to $40, you're basically telling them it's okay at what they price. So there's that. So what is my 2 cents? I honestly think you shouldn't get it. And now, if you are a businessman, if you do this for a living and you have to do this for money to make payments, go ahead. If you're going to be a Hasbro boy and go with Hasbro on it, sure. Is it going to be the quintessential Spider-Man? I mean, if you have these two, not really. You're not really getting anything different other than maybe new sculpts. A new sculpted body, but it has the same articulation scheme as all these figures do. And you get new sculpted parts and stuff and accessories. A lot of web accessories. But honestly, I think $50 is pushing it, in my opinion. And that's just all I got to say about that. But anyway, let me know down below what y'all think in the comments. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? I know I've been rambling. I'm just so fired up over the reveal of the price point, and I'm finally getting to talk about it. It's getting a lot off my chest, and I've had a very long week. But still, again, let me know down below what you think. Be sure to always like, comment, share, yada, 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 all that good stuff. And as always, everyone, take care.
Plastic Man, the one, the original Elastic Man, always in great shape for the shape he's in, the fantastic Plastic Man.